Hello everybody and welcome back to Path of Exile 2. We are continuing to run through maps, just kind of trying to just do a daily dose of Path of Exile 2. Not really trying to accomplish anything. There's plenty of other videos out there of people trying to do pinnacle content and all that stuff. We're mostly just hanging out for 20 minutes to see about getting through some maps. So if that sounds like fun to you, hang out for a minute. We're gonna be doing our lightning spear. Let's see. We're going to be doing our Lightning Spear Amazon for this map today. So let's go ahead and find ourselves an interesting map that we're going to want to do. Mine Shaft, I don't know. I don't really want to do the... we can do this Oasis one. Yeah, we can do this Oasis one. I like Oasis. Oasis is fun. Every once in a while, I'll do a rare map just because I need to build up some maps. But for the most part, mostly just trying to level my characters up. If you watch my channel on a regular basis, you know that I'm not necessarily that interested in, the crazy grind once you level your character up past a certain point. So mostly we're just kind of hanging out and doing a map every one map or so every day, something like that, with different characters. I have 3 different characters I'm working on, just so we have some variety in what we're doing. Because just like you guys want variety in your content, or I don't know, some of you guys, I guess some of you guys don't. I guess like some of you guys will probably obsessively watch the same thing over and over again. I need variety. I can't even watch the same kind of content over and over again. I gotta have some you know, some different content, some different games. I have to have different characters because I just, you know, it gets boring just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Like I think I got my grinding days out with World of Warcraft. I obsessively spent a long time playing World of Warcraft, but even then, when I was doing that, I still needed the variety, because, you know, I would level up a character, and then I would get to the end game, and I'm like, I'm kind of bored with this character, I'm ready to move on to something else. And then I would start a new character, and go through the 1 to 60 level process again, the 1 to 70 level process, 1 to 80, 85, 90, whatever it was at the whatever given time I was playing. I gotta build up a frenzy charge on this guy. Unfortunately, it seems like he was already shot, but I'm not... I need the frenzy charge to get my storm lance to actually proc on him. Alright. Yeah, I think I need to... I have this cast on shock option here for the sniper's mark, but... I don't know, I think I really just need to... I think I need to take that off, because it doesn't really help me. I have the Roa mount, but I would... As Rax and Tarek said, it's actually kind of annoying. It's kind of more annoying than it's worth. So I need to be able to mark targets so that I can proc a frenzy charge on it and then use our storm lance. As nice as it would be to automate that process, it doesn't seem to automate because the storm lance works off, or the storm lance ability works off of frenzy charges.
I need a moment to prepare.
Why am I not able to mark him? Mark him. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard. These guys that move around really fast, like, are really annoying. Alright. So yeah, I guess you gotta be careful with that. If you get something that moves around a lot, then you kind of just gotta stay right next to them, otherwise they're just gonna run around and completely miss your storm lance ability. Okay. Kind of making our way down the side. Nothing too crazy. Here we go. Wait for the explosion. Put another one down. There we go. It's really easy to not, because like when you put it down, there's like a charge up and then it explodes if you have a frenzy charge. And if you get like anxious and just like spam click, you're going to end up wasting it because the explosion, I think, is like the most important part of that whole setup there. So you gotta wait for the explosion before you pop another one down. And that's kind of hard to wait for sometimes when you're like, ugh, just freaking die already. But the whole point of it being for the Storm Lance, or the whole point of it being the Storm Lance is for, you know, single target boss kill, or single target high hit point guys, rares and bosses. There we go, we got ourselves a Frenzy Charge. We'll let that sit there and kill that guy. I really wish that they would add icons over your character instead of them being for. Like, I keep that there, but add a another icon over my character. It's hard when you're trying to maneuver around and look at stuff, and then you have to glance over here, and like sometimes the Frenzy Charge goes away just as you're looking at it. You don't realize you didn't even realize you had one. So I don't know. I know it's a little nitpicky thing, but it's a nitpicky thing. I'm an optimization kind of person. I believe in the idea of like. I believe in the idea of making the process as user-friendly and streamlined as possible. So adding an option, like I know a lot of people don't want to have an icon over their character. That's fine. I do. I don't really like having the hit points over my character because I prefer to have the hit points over the monsters, so I know how much more damage I have to put into them. And their hit bars start confusing me with my hit bars, and that gets confusing. So, and these are big enough. The bars here are big enough that I can kind of see out of my peripheral vision, which is good enough for me. But, you know, again, other people really like to have the hit point bars. So I'm just saying, you know, more is, when it comes to interface and accessibility options, not like accessibility options, more is always better. Like, provide people with options to interact with your game in the way that they want to, not the way that you've decided is the best way. Because everybody's different. Everybody has a different way of approaching things. And I can't imagine it's that hard to just add icons, like duplicate this icon at a fixed point over my character, right? Like, just duplicate it. Give me the option to duplicate that over my character so I can see what's, like, because I know we have this thing here indicating I have a Frenzy Charge, but when you're in the middle of a bunch of crap, that's hard to see. Like, when you have a bunch of crap happening around you, I can't see these little dots anymore. Like, they're just not visible anymore. So, you know, I think, you know, the visual indicator's cool and all. Visual indicator is cool and all, but when the screen gets really busy, an icon over your character, something that's super visible, even when there's a bunch of chaos happening, would just make me feel a lot better. That's me. I know some people are going to be different. They're not going to. See, my issue with this is that here, let me finish these guys off. Here's my issue. Okay? You see this? You see this charm right here? You see what it says? It says you cannot be stunned. Right? It doesn't say you cannot be heavy stunned. It says you cannot be stunned. That means any of these conditions that you see here, you should be immune to, which means they shouldn't be able to happen. Now, if the intention is cannot be stunned so long as you have charges, okay, maybe that's the implied thing that they're trying. Never put implications on things. Cannot be stunned, or just remove cannot be stunned. Just say use when you become stunned, remove stun. You see what I'm saying? Or change the text to say cannot be heavy stunned. The clarity in what you're putting on these things matters. Requiring people to go and research what these things mean, because it pisses me off every time I get stunned or frozen or whatever when it says immune to freeze, but then my character still gets frozen. That's not immunity. That's not immunity. I didn't realize we got a spirit gem. Let's see here. Combat Frenzy or Herald of Thunder. I mean, that seems to make it only... That just speeds up the frequency, I guess, at which you can get them. Whereas this one's going to... I have to imagine the Herald of Thunder is going to be my better option. I don't know. But, you know, it's just... People... If you're going to design a video game, you need to be really good at the English language, and you need to actually take some time to, like, think about what the words you're saying actually, what the words you're putting on a description actually mean, and not what you're trying to get them to mean. Because if what you're writing doesn't actually do what the text that you put down there says, then you're lying to, well, I don't say you're lying to people, but you're misleading people into believing that it does something that it's not. And, you know, it's important to be super upfront on how things work. It shouldn't be on the player to have to figure that stuff out. It should be on you as a developer to make it clear this is what this item does. And I found that, you know, a lot of games, but this one has a lot of stuff in it where it says that it does one thing, but it's clear that they meant something else and they didn't know how to write it in a way that made what they meant clear. And then you get frustrated because it's like, you know, I got the stone charm because I'm tired of being soft interrupted on things when I'm trying to attack things. I want something that prevents monsters from being able to interrupt my ability to move around and do stuff. Because what ends up happening is that you're walking around and you're trying to attack things, and then something, some kind of ranged attack comes in, knocks you, freezes you in place for a second, which gives just enough time for some other thing to come in and one-shot you. Most of the time when I get one shot, it's not because I'm not paying attention. It's because I got super unlucky. Something came in, stunned me for a fraction of a second, which locked me in place to get some kind of big hit to slam me. Like, almost every time, that's what's happening. So, either A, preferably, I would prefer it if they made it so that the text that this says actually is what the text, like they make the mechanics work to what the text is saying, because that's what I really want this charm for. Because, to be perfectly honest with you, we almost never get heavy stunned. Like, I can't remember a time where my character was actually heavy stunned. Most of the time, the issue that I have is that most of the time, my issue is that it's not the light stuns that are, it's not the heavy stuns that cause me a problem. I could go my entire play, the entire time that I've played without the stone charm, because I don't think I've ever been heavy stunned, ever, not once. I can't remember a time where I got heavy stunned and had to sit there and wait for the stun to go away. It's the light stuns that cause me a problem, and that's and if this isn't addressing the light stun problem, if it's not making me immune to light stuns, then this charm is completely useless. If I'm running around and you watch me like stop for a fraction of a second, that's because I'm getting light stunned. I'm getting light stunned by enemies who did just enough damage to me or had just enough additional stun ability on their thing to force me to stop, to freeze for a second, and then I can move on. And I know that doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but when you're being mobbed by a pack of trash or being mobbed by a bunch of stuff, and then, you know, maybe there's a bit either a smaller white mob that has a really heavy hitting thing, or there's a rare nearby and they're shooting crazy stuff at you, getting locked in place for even a fraction of a second results in an uncontrollable death, and it's not something you can just avoid because you don't know when you're going to get frozen in place. You just get frozen in place, right? So that's my rant about the whole stone charm. I still have it because I'm hoping that maybe it at least reduces it to some degree, but I'm still getting a lot of like getting frozen in place or getting stunned in place for a second because it doesn't seem to do anything. So, yeah. Anyways, that's going to go ahead and be it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers, join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip at the thanks button. I also have PayPal and Patreon links for those of you who prefer to go that route. So again, thanks for watching. Be sure to come back for the next video, and I'll see you then.